What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and we have a little bit of breaking news for y'all. As we know, Jalen Ramsey was carted off the field during training camp, late in training camp yesterday. It was revealed that he had a torn meniscus. Now, I waited to release this video because I wanted to let you guys know how long he'll be out too. So, I'm not going to let y'all wait. He's out until December. He had the full repair done. Now, there were, circumstances where he could have had the tear shaved down and he would have been back by week 1, maybe week 2. But he was able to do the full repair, and that actually lengthens his career a little bit and is better for his overall health and mobility. So, meanwhile, yeah, we could have had him back sooner. It probably wasn't going to be the Jalen Ramsey that we're used to, whereas there's a good possibility he can return back to his full form, maybe even, a little bit stronger, because that's what rehab does to these guys in December. And, he addressed the team yesterday, and he said, look, guys, don't waver. Don't feel bad for me. Go out, do your jobs. We have an excellent group here. We can still go out and still make a great impact. And honestly, I agree with him. Like, yeah, last year our secondary was rough, and so yeah, we added him. But Byron Jones was never coming back. We were like, maybe. He was never coming back. Trill Will was already out for the year. Nick Needham was already out for the year. We didn't have Cam Smith. Like, we don't know how good Cam Smith is yet, but he's a second-round pick. He's reportedly one of the top 2 to 3 corners in the entire draft. Ability wise, so like there's that, and it's like guys, we could make this run. And I looked at our schedule and I'm like, okay, so the first time we really play a team with 2 star receivers isn't until October, and that's a good ways away. And then after that, it's really not that bad. I'll pull up the schedule for y'all here in a second. And, the defense showed up today and showed out. And Trill Will and Brandon Jones both returned to practice today. They still didn't do team drills. It was just individual drills. Although Keon Crossan did miss practice. Sorry, I'm not shedding a tear. Freddie Swain did miss as well. And Jalen Phillips, a big part of, this Dolphins defensive front, he also missed today. But for him, someone stepped on his ankle yesterday in practice. That was a little bit, thrown under the rug because, or not yesterday, the day before, it was stepped on Tuesday. And it really wasn't, too big of a deal. He missed yesterday and today just because it wouldn't heal without rest. So it's not something that, they're overly concerned about. He did return to practice that day and everything. So it's not really overly concerning. And but the defense just it showed up and showed out. The defensive front, I believe they had 12 sacks today in practice. They did play indoors due to the rain and lightning, more lightning than the rain. But outside of the Chargers game, in the first half of the season, we play the Patriots. Okay, I like Devontae Parker. They still don't have anyone. They lost Jacoby Myers. They don't have anyone of substance. Broncos have Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick, but none of them are superstars. And I love Jerry Jeudy. I have him on my fantasy squad. He's not X can cover him, and Cater can take care of Sutton, and whoever our third corner is, if it's Trill, if it's Igbo, if it's Cam Smith, I believe that they can cover Tim Patrick. The Bills still have only one receiver. Gabe Davis is not better than at least 60 receivers in this league. I'm sorry. The Giants still have no receivers. The Panthers, they just drafted Jonathan Mingo. We have no idea, how good he's really going to be, but they do have Adam Thielen. He's late in his career. DJ Chark, kind of injury questions there. then the Eagles is the first really one that we would need two elite corners because they have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. But the Chiefs beat the Eagles without having an elite defense. So why can't we? Then, of course, the Patriots, again, not concerned about their wide receivers. The Chiefs, not concerned about their wide receivers. Am concerned about their quarterback. So our pass rush needs to be healthy and on point that game. Raiders, that's where it gets a little bit okay. They have Hunter Renfrow. They have Jacoby Myers. They have Devontae Adams. Don't trust Jimmy G as much. Their offensive line, not that good. Are they going to have Josh Jacobs? And their defense isn't good, so I'm not really concerned about that game too much either. Then it gets interesting. Then we play the Jets. Now they have They have Garrett Wilson and McCole Hardman, two really fast guys. Allen Lazard, he's their wide receiver 2. I'm sorry, he's not like top tier wide receiver 2 where he can't be guarded by Cater, by Cam Smith, by Igbo. Like, he's not that type of guy. Commanders have 3 really good receivers. Not, that would be one that I would be concerned about. But that could also be a case where Jalen Ramsey comes back for that game. Titans have D-Hop and Treylon Burks. Outside of that, not really too concerned. I believe Treylon can, I think Cater could cover Treylon. Excuse me. After that, the Jets again, then the Cowboys. The Cowboys I would be a little bit concerned about, but we're talking about the possibility Jalen Ramsey could be back for the Commanders game, and that would be the ideal spot, in my opinion, for him to come back. For him to come back against that squad that has 3 elite receivers. Then we play the Titans, who only really have 2 good receivers. Then the Jets, once again, 1 elite receiver, 1 good receiver. Cowboys, 2 really, really good receivers. CD might be elite. He's like borderline elite. Ravens, if they're ever healthy, they could have a really good squad. And then Bills again. So right now, I'm viewing Ramsey as more of a luxury than a necessity, especially when I evaluate our cornerback room. Like, when I go in there and I evaluate our cornerback room, and, okay, we have X. Last year, he played, like a CB20 and CB26. Okay, he had 2 groin strains that he was playing with throughout the entire season. And so, having him fully healthy, he's going to be a top 10 corner again. Cater, he all offseason, everybody's been raving about how much better he's gotten, and he was already playing like a CB20. So, like, yeah, we're not going to have the absolute elite pass defense that we thought we were going to, but these are really, really good guys. Cater can go in there. Nick Needham, if he comes back, he's probably not going to be back until week 3, week 4 is my guess, my personal opinion. Because he's coming back from an Achilles injury. Well, he was the best nickel in the league 2 years ago. He didn't get to really play nickel last year because Byron Jones was out, so he was playing boundary. He was the best nickel in the league 2 years ago. So throw him back at nickel. That's once again a very, very good group, a top 5 CB group right there on the field. Like, play-wise. Like, okay, yeah, their names are going to jump out on you, but those are really, really good guys. After that, Trill Will. Now, we only really got to see him in, 3 quarters of that first preseason game, and he did tear his ACL, but before that, he showed up and showed out in almost all of the Dolphins offseason, mini camp, training camp. Now he's avoided the PUP, on track to make the team and be able to start, if needed, week 1. Cam Smith today had a really good day. He's been up and down in practice, but he's learning. He's young. He's raw. And that's kind of why we drafted him, so we can mold him. So in, 1 to 2 years, when X or Jalen fall off, then we can put him in there, and he's going to be our next elite guy. Don't forget, guys, Xavier Howard was a 2nd-round pick. Not all of these stud guys are going to be 1st-round picks. I mean, Cater and Nick Needham were both undrafted. They're both on the depth chart ahead of the next guy I'm going to talk about, Igbo. Igbo, now a lot of y'all clown him, but he was secretly so good last year when he was in there. He had a 77 passer rating against him. If y'all don't know, that is extremely low. That is nearly 30 points below what Tua averaged last year. Tua, I think, was like at 103.1 or something like that. It was, so Tua, that's really good. Average, I believe, for a quarterback is somewhere in the upper 80s, or mid 80s, and he had a 77 passer rating against him. He didn't have a lot of playing time, so you can't really see that. And when you go to PFF, he didn't have enough playing time for him to actually show up as a ranked corner. Because, I would say that between Danny Crossman and our defensive coordinator, who shall not be named, last year were just absolute morons. Like, they were playing Keon Crossan over Igbo, and it was strictly for special teams. And I think that was absolutely stupid, because special teams, we had one of the better ranked special teams defense in the league, but like when we're kicking it away and whatnot, returning it, we sucked. One of the worst. So went from one of the best to one of the worst on each of those categories. But when Igbo was in there as a DB over Keon Crossan, and we did see that when both of them were there and they had the option of, Igbo or Keon, then they put Igbo over Keon Crossan. And now that's the smart thing, but because he's so much better in coverage, but is Keon Crossan really that much better on special teams to sacrifice part of your defense for him? Because it's not like Keon Crossan was not getting significant amount of snaps. So now we have a smarter defensive coordinator. Igbo just determined to get better, and this is the kind of guys that Brian Flores, when he was here, drafted. He drafted guys with Greer that had the mindset of, I want to go in there and work my ass off and do something about it. And that's what they brought in with Igbo. Now, they drafted him way too high, but that was his attitude. He was, I'm going to get better, and I can learn and everything else. And he is going to do that. And there's a good possibility that he went from a cut candidate to possibly our CB4 to start the season. Like, that is kind of crazy if you think about it. And, he talked today, and he's not concerned about that stuff. Although he is loving this defensive scheme, he's talked about how Fangio runs a little bit more zone, so it allows him to use his vision a little bit more. He played more zone in college, and obviously we played the most man in the league last year. But, still, like, it might do, like, it's Igbo season, baby. Other notes from this training camp, just Tua seems to be struggling without Tua, without people saying he's struggling. Like, we can't watch what's happening. We're getting these from the reporters, and some reporters, they're saying, okay, there's drops, there's good defensive things, and Tua actually had 2 overthrows today. Overthrew Tyreek Hill and overthrew Jalen Waddle. Then he came back and dropped one in the bucket to Cedric Wilson. And it's crazy. Mike McDaniel called a pass interference on Cater in a one-on-one. Man, just like Bradley Chubb, Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer. Chubb had 2 sacks and a stuffed run. Wilkins had 3 or 4 sacks. Duke Riley had 3 sacks. Zach Sealer had a sack. Jerome Baker had a couple of pass rushes. Andrew Van Ginkel put pressure on. It's crazy. I mean, by the way, obviously, Teron Armstead, Isaiah Wynn, 2 potential starters, are still missing practice with their injuries that are on the PUP. So yeah, there's that, and I will make another video talking about like some underrated guys that have been doing really good, and you should keep an eye out for them during this whole training camp process. But till the next time, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with all your friends. Deuces.